Most people believe overthinking is simply thinking too much. But that is usually not what overthinking actually is. In many cases, overthinking begins as a psychological defense mechanism. The human mind constantly tries to predict danger, avoid mistakes, and prepare for uncertainty. At first, this process feels useful, responsible, even intelligent. But over time, the brain may begin confusing preparation with control. Thoughts become repetitive. Scenarios become endless. Small decisions begin carrying emotional weight far beyond their actual importance. And eventually, the mind may stop searching for solutions and start generating continuous mental noise instead. Because overthinking does not appear instantly. It often develops through recognizable psychological stages. And once the later stages begin, the mind may struggle to distinguish real danger from imagined uncertainty. This is the evolution of overthinking. Stage 1. Doubt. In the beginning, overthinking often appears harmless. The person simply wants to make the right decision, avoid mistakes, understand every possibility. Small uncertainties begin creating mental repetition. Conversations replay in the mind. Decisions are analyzed repeatedly. Minor outcomes begin receiving disproportionate attention. At this stage, the process still feels manageable, productive even, because careful thinking can sometimes feel responsible. But beneath the surface, the brain may already begin reinforcing uncertainty as a threat. The mind slowly starts believing, if I think long enough, I can prevent discomfort completely. And that belief quietly becomes the foundation of overthinking itself. Stage 2. Mental loops. By stage 2, thoughts begin repeating automatically. The same scenarios replay continuously. The same possibilities return again and again. Conversations become mental loops. Decisions become psychological mazes. The brain starts searching endlessly for certainty that may never fully exist. Because uncertainty creates emotional discomfort, and the human mind naturally seeks emotional resolution. But overthinking rarely creates resolution. It usually creates amplification. Small doubts become larger. Minor concerns become emotionally significant. The mind begins generating hypothetical situations faster than it can emotionally process them. At this stage, overthinking often starts affecting emotional stability itself. Sleep weakens. Focus decreases. Emotional tension slowly increases beneath everyday life. Stage 3. Anxiety escalation. By stage 3, overthinking begins influencing the nervous system directly. The body starts reacting to imagined scenarios as if they are immediate threats. Heart rate increases. Rest becomes difficult. Relaxation feels temporary. The brain remains in a constant state of mental anticipation, because prolonged overthinking may gradually activate chronic stress responses. The nervous system starts expecting danger continuously, even during ordinary situations. At this stage, emotional exhaustion often begins developing beneath the surface. The person may appear functional externally, while internally experiencing continuous mental overload. Thoughts become faster. Fear becomes harder to regulate, and silence itself may begin feeling uncomfortable. Because once the brain adapts to constant mental stimulation, stillness can start feeling psychologically unfamiliar. Stage 4. Decision paralysis. By stage 4, overthinking may begin interfering with action itself. Decisions become emotionally overwhelming. Small choices feel disproportionately important. The mind becomes trapped between endless possibilities, because every outcome now carries imagined consequences. Fear of making the wrong decision intensifies. Hesitation increases. Confidence weakens. The person begins delaying action to avoid emotional discomfort. But avoidance rarely reduces overthinking. It usually strengthens it, because uncertainty remains unresolved. At this stage, the mind may begin confusing inaction with safety. Overanalysis replaces movement. Planning replaces execution. Mental simulation replaces real experience. And over time, the individual may begin feeling psychologically trapped inside their own thoughts. Stage 5. Mental exhaustion. In the final stage, the emotional system begins showing signs of prolonged mental fatigue. Motivation weakens. Emotional clarity decreases. Concentration becomes unstable. The mind feels crowded constantly, because the brain was never designed to remain in continuous psychological alertness. Overthinking slowly consumes emotional energy, and eventually, the person may stop searching for certainty altogether. Not because peace was found, but because mental exhaustion begins overpowering emotional resistance. This is what makes chronic overthinking psychologically dangerous over long periods of time. It gradually transforms uncertainty into a permanent internal environment. The nervous system adapts to tension. Stress becomes familiar. Mental noise becomes normal. And eventually, silence itself may begin feeling unnatural. Because once the brain becomes conditioned to constant internal activity, peace can start feeling unfamiliar. And that may be one of the most difficult stages of all. Because the human mind can adapt surprisingly well to psychological overload. Even when that overload slowly drains emotional stability itself. Human behavior evolves in patterns. Emotional systems adapt in stages. And the mind often changes itself long before people consciously recognize the loops forming beneath the surface. ArchiveNeural. Observe. Analyze. Understand.